For the past decade or so, the San Francisco Giants have taken a backseat in the MLB. After coming off a dominant few years where they won not one, not two, but three different World Series in 2010, 2012, and 2014, things started to fall off. During that period, they had an elite team with players in their prime like Buster Posey, Brandon Crawford, Brandon Belt, and Hunter Pence, but also a top-tier starting rotation that consisted of pitchers like Tim Lincecum, Matt Cain, and of course, postseason legend Madison Bumgarner. After 2014, the Giants were competitive for a couple of years, but by 2017, things started to go downhill. They were plagued by injuries throughout the season and fell to last place in the NL West and ended up missing the playoffs for the next 4 years as they began to rebuild. Then in 2021, something changed and something happened that nobody expected. The Giants won 107 games and won the NL West over the Dodgers, who won 106 games. This team really came out of nowhere, and it was probably one of the most bizarre seasons for them, where they had a resurgence of their veterans like Posey, Crawford, and Belt. It didn't really end up mattering that much though, because they lost in the NLDS to the Dodgers 3-2, which was heartbreaking for them and the fans. But it brought back a winning culture to San Francisco. They struggled in 2022 and didn't make the playoffs, but it seemed like the front office was ready to make this team into something great again. And at the end of 2022, Jon Heyman shocked the MLB when he posted that Arson Judge was going to go to the Giants. People were freaking out because nobody expected Judge to leave the Yankees, and it seemed like the Giants were going to start to build another juggernaut team. The tweet was deleted really quickly, and of course, as we all know, it turned out to be a mistake and eventually became a pretty big meme within the MLB community. Giants fans were disappointed, and that big splash didn't come from them until this offseason. They started the offseason with signing South Korea KBO star Jung Hoo Lee, who's going to be their starting center fielder and leadoff hitter. They've been eyeing this guy for years, and it makes sense. He's a solid contact player with elite plate discipline and batted .340 in South Korea. He's not going to hit a bunch of home runs, but he'll get on base a bunch and score runs. The Giants also recently signed Matt Chapman, who's always been an above-average hitter and top-tier fielder with 4 gold gloves. He'll slide in at third base, and I'm sure the Giants pitchers are going to be thankful that he's there. The Giants also traded for Robbie Ray, who's a past Cy Young winner and solid top-end starter. Ray won the Cy Young in 2021 with the Blue Jays and signed a massive contract with the Mariners the next year, where he pitched pretty well. Last year, he injured his UCL and had to get Tommy John, so he won't be back until halfway through 2024. But down the stretch, he could be a huge asset to the Giants if they're within striking distance of a wildcard spot. And they also signed Jordan Hicks, who's always been one of the nastiest relievers in the league. Hicks can throw up to 105 miles per hour and has insane movement on his pitches, with his splitter even hitting 92 miles per hour at one point. The Giants are supposedly going to try to convert him to a starting pitcher this year, which is definitely going to be a big switch for him. But even if he ends up being a reliever for them, him and Camilo Doval, who's their elite closer, are going to be shutting down teams late in games and holding leads for them. Jorge Soler is another player that they added to their lineup, and this guy is a solid veteran. He was an all-star last year for the Marlins and hit 36 homers and is a great bat for the team. Then, as we all know, the Giants just added Blake Snell to their team, who's a game changer. He's a 2-time Cy Young winner and pitched really well last year, and if he can replicate that success for the Giants, they'll be in a really good spot. Their starting rotation also has Logan Webb, who finished second in Cy Young voting last year right behind Snell, and is one of the top pitchers in baseball today. He's not a big strikeout pitcher, but he finished last year tied with Garrett Cole for 24 quality starts and led the league with the most innings pitched at 216. He's incredibly efficient and limits his walks and eats up innings that make him really valuable. And the Giants' third starter is Kyle Harrison, who's the Giants' #1 prospect. We got a glimpse of him last year as a rookie, and he's a lefty with a nasty slurve, and I'm sure he'll get better as he progresses throughout the season. The Giants likely aren't going to win the NL West or anything like that, but this team deserves an A+ rating for their offseason pickups. This team hasn't been to the playoffs for the past couple of years, and this might give them the push that they need to secure a wildcard spot. They're a dark horse team this year, and don't be surprised if they make a deep run in the playoffs. How do you think the Giants are going to do this year? And was Blake Snell a good pickup for them?